I'm Greg Jarrett in for Lou Dobbs. The U.S. Navy continues its search for 10 missing sailors after the USS McCain collided with a tanker near Singapore. 5 sailors other than the missing were injured and the ship sustained significant damage. The Navy commander has ordered a worldwide operational pause as it investigates that crash. It's the second such collision in Asia in just the past 2 months. For more now on the USS McCain incident, President Trump's Afghanistan speech tonight and his rally in Phoenix, Arizona tomorrow. We're joined now by a congressman who will be at that rally, Republican Representative Trent Franks of Arizona. Congressman, always a pleasure to speak with you. Let me talk first about the maritime collision.
Thank you, sir.
You know, these ships are a marvel of engineering and technology. They have radar and sonar and other collision detection systems, and yet this continues to happen. This is the 4th this year such collision. So what's going on?
Well, you know, Greg, first of all, let me just tell you, I'm a fan of yours, and I don't remember the last time I said that to a journalist, so we can move on from there. But
thank you, sir.
When you have 4 like that, you know, I think in one of the remarks of the intelligence community is that 2 is a pattern. And so to have 4 in the Pacific Rim area like that, when, as you have articulated, it is such a rare thing. It's a very big ocean, and the technology is very exact, and of course for good reason. So I think Secretary Mattis took just about the right approach when he said we're going to look into this. We're not going to make any suppositions or presuppositions. We're simply going to look at it and let each of these events stand on their own and see if there's any connection or pattern, or see if there's anything there that we need to correct on a systemic basis. And so it is a little bit curious, but that's about as far as I could go. Well,
the shipping density, as I understand, in the last couple of decades has increased 400%, so it gets crowded out there. Let me switch to tonight's speech in Afghanistan, on Afghanistan by the president. Fox News is reporting that he will endorse an idea proposed by the Pentagon for an increase of 4,000 U.S. troops there. He's going to be calling on India and Pakistan to do more in the region. You sit on the Armed Services Committee. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I do, and I was in part of the discussion that precipitated the surge in Afghanistan under George Bush, and as you know, that was a successful strategy, but it seemed like the last 8 years we've just been in a holding pattern. And when you mention Pakistan, they're a key in this whole discussion. We need to make it very clear to them, and I think the President's doing that they're not going to be allowed to give the Taliban either safe haven or any material support, or they're going to face some significant consequences from the United States. So I see an entirely different approach. For those who said that President Trump would somehow not be able to understand these military issues, what he's done is an example of leadership when he's brought General Kelly and General Mattis and some of the best leaders that you could imagine and put them around, General McMaster's. And so the reality is, I think that we have something of consequence to hear tonight, and I look for some significant progress.
I want to switch to tomorrow night. The president's going to be at a rally where you are in Phoenix, Arizona, and he may pardon former Sheriff Joe Arpaio. At least that's what he told me a week ago when I saw the president. He said, and I'll quote, this is from my article last week, "I am seriously considering a pardon for Sheriff Arpaio. He has done a lot in the fight against illegal immigration. He is a great American patriot, and I hate to see what has happened to him." What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm just going to be very clear. I hope the President does just that. I agree with the sentiments that he expressed completely. I've known Joe Arpaio for a very long time, and whether you agree with all of his approaches or methods does not change the fact that this man's given his entire life to protecting his fellow human beings. You know, he has a very sick wife, and he has given his entire being to all of this, and I think that a lot of the persecution or prosecution, the words are almost interchangeable in this circumstance, have been politically motivated. Clinton judge that essentially ignored all of the evidence or all of the, at least the testimony of the witnesses to a person, and came to a different conclusion and issued this conviction. I hope the President sets that right. I hope he does. Joe Arpaio deserves to have an honorable retirement in his twilight years, because he has done America and Arizona and all of us really a great service.
Congressman Franks, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Keep up the fight to get rid of the filibuster, will you?
You know I'm going to do just that, and thank you for mentioning it. Now the President's talking about it, and that's in large measure thanks to the intellectual basis that you put out some of these articles on, and I appreciate it, Greg.
Thank you, sir. Great pleasure.
Yes,
Good
sir.
to see you.